And football,
That's a good ass point.
football, America is addicted to football in ways that
Facts.
are different.
Facts.
Yeah. I'm one of them.
Yo, dog. This
Multiple
is
days
it's
a
a
week.
funny quote.
Yeah.
Yo, football dethroned Jesus. Like, fam,
Sunday.
People will work around going to church, bro, for football.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
We'll pray that.
that's something, bro.
92 of the top 100 TV shows every year are football games. 92 out of the top 100.
Wow.
That's the NFL and also college football.
Wow.
College football is the second most popular sport in America, and it's not close.
Wow.
Football, the NFL is number one.
Number one.
You could put a fucking football on a table and get 15 million people. You just put it on TV. So, like,
Wow.
the question of who becomes a football player, football, it's fascinating, man. We were talking about, like, Adam Silver in 2014. There was a conversation, like, 10, 15 years ago in which it was, should football be allowed? The CTE crisis. There are all these, like, think pieces and, like, people saying, like, we can't let our kids play. The college football should be illegal. Just, like, radical proposals because it was brain damage. And what's happened? Football has become
grown.
the most popular thing, not just in sports, but in American life. You guys know this, right? Everything is fragmented. So sports being like up and to the right, the green arrow always growing, right? Nothing embodies that more than football. And it's because at a time when everyone's phone is their feed and we have a zillion different algorithms, the last thing that people gather to watch together that otherwise they're led to disagree about politically, musically, culturally. I could yell at the same team as a guy who wants me to fucking be deported.
He's right.
Because we cheer for
Sports and music.
football.
Sports and music.
Shout out Pablo Torre, dude. My favorite person, probably out after you, my favorite sports journalist out there doing it, man.
That's kind of you to call me a sports journalist.
So it's been only a week and a half, but it feels like it's been forever since the Bears played. September cannot be here soon enough. As the offseason for the Bears begins and the flurry of snow and NFL coach movement sprinkles the skies, we wanted to take some time to reflect on the fun, wild, ridiculous, beautiful season that was the 2025 Chicago Bears. So, what did we learn about the Bears this season?
Man, what I learned about the Bears just this last week was I miss watching them. You know, it's like every game was so much fun. And when can you say that as a Bears fan? When's the last time they were like fun to watch, you know? Because they just like keep you in the game the whole time. The offense is humming, defense is, well, you know, they gave up yards. You never know when the next takeaway is coming. It was fun to watch, and then trying to get myself to watch the games this weekend, which I did. Just didn't feel the same, you know, just with the Bears not in it. I think America missed the Bears, to be honest. You know, like who wants to watch Jarrett Stidham in a blizzard, right? Like, I think, I mean, the Seahawks-Rams game was entertaining. But I miss them. I can't wait for September. I think that this team is, sure, there'll be regressions on some parts of, you know, some of the things that they were doing, the turnovers, for example. But I don't think this was like one of those flash-in-the-pan Bears seasons that we typically got. Because, you know, back in the day, you know, in the 2018 season, for example, or 2020 season, it's like you knew it wasn't really sustainable. You knew the offense wasn't where it should be, and you had like a coach that some people liked, some people didn't. But I feel like you've got a team and personnel that, I don't know, the whole city felt like they rallied behind, and it did feel a little bit different. And I think everybody's excited about next year. We'll find out on Pulse of the People, which I'm sneak peeking here. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I think we learned that this team fought for each other. I think that they were fun to watch. I think that locker room vibe was, look at your background. I mean, good vibes, right?
He doesn't have a shirt on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do in the offseason. I'm excited for next year, and it's a good time to be a Bears fan.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I had the reason we put that clip at the beginning, so that's Pablo Torre on the Joe Budden podcast, and he was just talking about like the impact of football and what it means to people. And with this season, like, I'm having random Bears conversations with people at like the yoga studio, and we're not even talking about the podcast. I'm talking about it with the dude at like this was preseason stuff, but I'm talking about it with the dude at like the Honda dealership, and it was just like these random people having Bears conversations. The Wiener Circle's giving away free hot dogs, coffee shops are giving away free matchas after they like beat the Packers, and so there's this like buzz in the city, and truly like you had talked about the Bears Packers was like your best collective like Bears watching experience, and it's just like
Yeah.
you and your friends and like the kids and everyone's there, and like this like sports is kind of this like it's silly but it feels really real and it is really awesome, and in this kind of space where things feel really kind of dark at times, like truly like as simple as it might feel, like being able to watch those games with like friends and like I'm hugging my friend when I'm watching these games, like this connect, like there's this really beautiful connection. And I think Pablo talked about like, it's like people of many different ilks sitting next to each other, rooting for this thing and kind of being united. I mean, like there's a lot of like collective value in sports, and there's obviously many real things happening in the world, but I think it is that like there's this moment of this really beautiful connection with a lot of different people from a lot of different places, and especially when the Bears or your team is good, and like it's fucking awesome, dude. There is this like nice united thing, and like dude, my sister, who like she doesn't even really like watch football that much. They were watching these last couple games. She's like, I think I could actually watch them. And like not just because the dude's butts look good in the like tight pants, but like because it's like entertaining, crazy shit is happening. And that's like, yeah, it's really,
Oh yeah.
really beautiful to have that be a thing that
Especially with the Bears. I feel like the Bears with this city, I don't know, people get excited. I like you said with your yoga studio, like I wear my Bears hoodie out and people are like, "Hey, they gonna win today?" And they're like, how you feeling? Or bear down. And I'm just like, "Yeah, dude, let's do it." People, random strangers, right? You get excited about that sort of thing. Even my wife watched the last couple games and she was so into it. And it's like exciting. And I can see, you know, the boys really picking up because we've only known like misery in that sort of department when we were kids, depending on how old you are. uh they get some exciting things and exciting teams to root and cheer for, so it's all good, it's all good on this side.
what it really reminded me of is like when that Thibodeau, Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah Bulls were out like putting up an incredible fight against the Celtics. And
Yeah,
like I would just be wandering around and just I remember like after I think it was maybe the first game and I'm walking around, if I'm remembering the timeline, I was like in pharmacy school and I just remember like making eye contact with this dude and we were both like, holy shit, dude. Like both kind of knew that we had watched the game without saying it. And
yeah,
also, shout out Derrick Rose. We were just as I was at his jersey retirement thing, but like it kind of felt not jersey retirement thing, jersey retirement ceremony, a beautiful
yeah.
reflection of a boy from the city getting his fucking jersey retired. But it felt like that, and it was such a cool thing to have. Yeah, it doesn't. It starts to stretch beyond just like sports and kind of starts to mean a lot for the community, which is yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And I think for us, doing this pod, we joke about how different this year's season of podcasting was versus last year's, where it was just started out okay, a little bit of a high, and then just every week a little bit more depressing than the last. And while the Bears certainly didn't go undefeated this year, I felt like even after the Lions game, you guys did an instant reflection. I think that was probably the darkest of times. But comparatively, it was fine. And then even those losses sprinkled into the season, I think our message was always, it's okay. They played well, they were in it, not the end of the world, because we have faith in the direction of this team moving forward. And that kind of helps soften some of those losses.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this season was a let's see what happens. That we hope the stability is there. Ben Johnson in his postseason press conference was like, we're basically starting at zero and working our
Yeah,
way up.
yeah.
And I don't
Great
think he
quote.
meant it. Yeah, and I don't think he meant it in a way like what we did was bad, but it's like we didn't achieve what we are aiming
Yeah,
to achieve, so we got to like, push harder
start
and
over. Yeah.
yeah. Like where is your I feel like we've not they have set the bar for what we assume a successful
Mhm.
season is, and I feel like there's still a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of,
different. It's different.
yeah, the bar has been
The
significantly
bar
up.
is higher and the expectations that come along with that. And the Bears fans are going to be rabid as ever. You know, this season was about cautious optimism. There's a lot of house money being thrown around like, "Oh, we made the playoffs, everything else is house money. Oh, we beat the Packers, everything else is house money." Now you're expected to beat the Packers next year. Now you're expected to make the playoffs next year. And how, if we hit a bump in the road, how's that going to look? And I like what Ben Johnson said about starting from square one because every year the team is different. You probably get a lot of pieces back. Sure, you want to keep some of that continuity, players under contract, all that, but no two locker rooms are exactly the same from year to year. It's a different group of guys, it's a different group of veterans. You got rookies coming in, coaches. If your team was successful, typically get poached. You got to bring new coaches in. So you do have to start a little bit over in terms of like, how are we going to approach the season? What's the identity of this team? You want to keep as much of that as the same as possible, but it's not always the case.
Yeah, he said a lot of things in that press conference that just continues to confirm this feeling that he truly is a leader, like someone who knows how to lead. He's like, as he was talking about coaches being poached, he said, you don't expect your first year collection of coaches to be five-star guys. And I feel like that's what we have, but like, I
Yeah.
want them to be successful. So if they like, that's a good sign. If they want to go to other places, I'd love for them to be here. He's talked about like telling the players, specifically Caleb, like you need to just get away from football for a while. Even they were like, "What do you think Caleb needs to work on?" He goes, "We'll talk about that later." Like I just want him
Yeah.
to like, but little subtle things like that just seem like he's pretty. uh he just kind of knows, man, and it's great. Even when I just think about just like a lot of these things, I try to pull towards like as I'm teaching class and stuff. It's obviously not the same as like NFL football, but there is this like,
Yeah.
how do you
You took your shirt off for free
Yes,
hot dogs in
I
class?
do. Yes, I do. I do take my shirt off every class to inspire them. It's like, how do you convince people and lead people, and how do you push people, and how do you like, because they were talking about the practices being hard as shit, and he goes, they were like almost immune to pressure, and it's like we put a lot of pressure on them early, so the stuff later didn't become, they were just knew how to handle it, and it's like those things. There's so much interesting like yeah, little nuggets of things that he's saying that I'm trying to think about for myself just as a as a leader of fucking
Hmm.
students and shit. But it just feels, oh, excuse me. It it just feels really nice knowing that we have that person who seems to understand this at a level that's looking at like the next multiple years and not just right now.
Yeah, it's great. He's got a solid plan. I mean, he was hired for a reason. And it's funny, even approaching the playoffs, he's like, get ready I want your mindset to be you're going to play four more games, right? He's just constantly like instilling confidence in the group that he has. And I think he really made some of these guys play above their skis because he was just such a good motivator in that way. So, yeah, it's good. Be interesting to see how this shapes up. The Bears have a couple holes they need to address going into the offseason, so kind of interested to see how they approach that. I don't expect a lot of their coaches to leave. Maybe Al Harris looks like he's a candidate for a defensive coordinator job in Pittsburgh. Um, Declan Doyle withdrew his candidacy for offensive coordinator for the Eagles, but he has been asked to be the OC for the Ravens, which would be a great win for him because they have a defensive head coach. So he basically get the reins to Lamar Jackson. So that's a pretty big upgrade for him. Should he get that job? So outside of that, I don't see too many other coaches getting poached from the Bears side of things.
Um, as you were something you said just kind of makes me keep kind of go back to those that Derrick Rose era Bulls and Tom Thibodeau, like just really like elevating everybody to
Mhm.
like he had like DJ Augustine playing great and Kyle Korver playing great, like
DJ
all this,
Augustine.
just like getting people like there was just that, and obviously they didn't win the championship or whatever, but like that just like getting people to play at a level that they themselves maybe didn't know that they could get to, or like like getting them there really quick. It's just that's just a yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's very exciting to see if this sort of stability and this sort of structure and this sort of success happens early as you get your shit more instilled. People know what to expect. People show up like ready. Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
It's the antithesis of Billy Donovan and Pat Williams, essentially, right? In terms of getting somebody to play all the way up to their potential.
I was telling you this offline. I've texted this to so many people. I do. Yeah, Pat Williams needs someone to be like mean to him. I don't know what that man needs, dude.
I just want
I,
someone to yell at this guy.
I want to like him, dude. I feel like he's a sweet man. I just, it's really unfortunate what he's doing to this team. Um, okay, so there's like drafts and all that other stuff, but I mean, what do you like? Just maybe let's talk about big picture stuff, and then each episode we can kind of talk about where
Yeah.
the off season going. But what are you kind of hoping to see happen between kind of now and the beginning of the preseason for this org and team?
Yeah, so they have a number of well, not a number, but they've got some holes to fill on their team. I think the offensively, there's two things that I would look for. I guess three. One of them is the offensive coordinator. Is Declan Doyle going to stick around or not? That's one. The second thing would be DJ Moore. I think what's going to happen with him now. Antoine Randall L just did a lengthy podcast with Jarrett Payton, Walter Payton's son, he's affiliated with the Bears, and talked about the wide receiver room and just spewed love for DJ Moore. Integral part of the wide receiver room, really is an Iron Man for the team. I mean, it's all true stuff. Like, he's been a workhorse this year. He had a great last month, maybe a not so great last play. People thought he might have been concussed. We're not really sure, but there was obviously miscommunication there that led to that interception. What do they do with him? He's expensive. He's playing a position where they do seem to have a surplus of talent. And I don't just mean wide receiver, but maybe pass catchers in general, right? With the emergence of Loveland as well. So does he become expendable? Could they use that salary elsewhere? That's something to watch out for. And then unfortunately, the injury to Ozzy Trapillo is something to watch out for. He had a full tear of his patellar tendon, which this is an injury that's similar to Josh Simmons at Ohio State. He was supposed to be the top tackle in the country, and he fell all the way to the Chiefs at like number 20, wherever the Chiefs draft over here, 26 or something, because of that injury. And it took him most of the year to get back. He's doing okay now, but they can't go into next season with no left tackle. And you saw, based on how they plugged Joe Tooney in, that they don't have a ton of confidence, I don't think, in Braxton Jones, who's a free agent, or Theo Benedict, who they kind of want to keep as like a swing tackle, weird kind of jumbo package guy. So what do they do with that position? I've heard, they could obviously draft somebody there, but if you're not drafting a left tackle in the first or second round, you're not drafting a starter at that position. So that doesn't really help you. So you could sign a free agent, or I heard our boy Q, shout out Q, say that they could move Darnell Wright to the left tackle position. They have a whole off season to do that, and he could do that. I mean, he's a beast. He's super talented. And then it's easier to find a right tackle. It's cheaper in free agency. You can also draft right tackles in the third and fourth round. Like, those, you can plug and play starter those guys. So that is an easier hole to fill. So those are some things I'd look out for on offense. And then on defense, oh man, I think you're going to see a lot of turnover. They have four safeties that are all unsigned. I imagine they'll sign some of them back. Byard, I think Poles mentioned as a priority. I don't know what's going to happen with the others. And then the defensive line, I think you'll see some turnover there. I think Tremaine Edmonds maybe played his last snap as a Bear. He's kind of expensive, not that great. I mean, he was having a pretty good season, but I think they can get more out of that cap allocation. So he could be gone. So you'll probably see some more changes on the defense and the offense. So it'll be interesting to see how they attack free agency and draft. And of course, everybody wants them to trade for Max Crosby or Myles Garrett. So who knows if that's on the table.
I mean, that's just exciting even thinking about, dude. Okay, awesome. So let's quickly talk about the pulse of the people. So we wanted to do a off-season pulse of the people, get a feel of just how we're feeling after, the good feels of this season. So there's going to be three questions we're asking you all for this round of Pulse of the People 3. So the first one is, what was your favorite moment of the 2025 season? What moves are you hoping the Bears make in the offseason is the second question. And then the third is, how are you feeling about the future of the Chicago Bears? As always, a 30 to 60-second response to each question would be great. You can email your responses to bearsintheneighborhood@gmail.com. You can text us those responses as well. We are going to take a week off from this pod, so we won't be recording, or we won't be putting out an episode, the week of Feb 1st. We'll be hitting it back right after the Super Bowl, which is when we'll probably do the Pulse of the People episode. So get your responses in by like Feb 6th or 7th. Yeah, and there should be a little thing on the screen, if my editing software works correctly, that has those questions. If not, I'll probably be texting most of y'all anyways. Any other final thoughts before we work our way out of here, Don?
No, great season. I've always a blast chopping it up with you. So I appreciate all the work that you do on this podcast, and your awesome monologues, and the cool AI things that you can do to make us look suave and buff, and all of that cool stuff. So thank you for a great season.
Man, thank you for a great season. I tell you this often, but it's really wonderful being able to have someone who I can just ask questions that I did not tell you I was going to ask you before, and for you to be able to come up with a response in a thoughtful way. It makes this so fucking easy because I just get to ask you questions and you know the answers to everything. So thank you very much for that. And also thank you all that listen and like text us that you like listening, and comment, and like hit us up on the side, and sub in if we need y'all. We really
Yeah,
appreciate
means a
that. I
lot.
think, yeah, dude, for sure. And it's so beautiful, kind of like grassrootsing this community together to be talk about something that really does feel like it just means a lot to like all of us. So we appreciate y'all as well. And shout out Derek Rose, the fucking goat. Um,
This guy designs all these shirts himself, by the way. I just want to point that out there. So that's a Mr. Rathod's Neighborhood original.
Hell yeah. The clothing brand is called Eternally Amateur, and it is a neighborhood exclusive. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. For Samir Patel, I am Chirag Rathod. We are the Bears in the Neighborhood, your weekly insight into the Chicago Bears in under 30 minutes, and we will catch you all in 2 weeks.
Great season, Saskatchewan. I'm excited to hear their reflections.